God knows how to give us the rain in the season that we need it. Too much rain is a flood. Too little rain is a drought. Just enough rain causes us to walk in places of prosperity. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? And God is going to give us just enough rain. There's a shift taking place, people. I'm telling you, there is a major shift taking place. And if you don't sense and feel the shifting, you're going to miss it. When there is a shifting, there's also a sifting. And so God shakes loose and shakes up and shakes around everything that does not need to be used in what he's trying to make. Now, whenever you're making a cake, my grandma said, we do it the easy way now. We do it the easy way. We just go ahead and get us a box of Dunkin' Hines. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Get us a box of Dunkin' Hines or Betty Crocker or something like that. We make it the easy way. But my grandma didn't make it the easy way. You know, when she made cakes or she made biscuits, she made it from scratch. And when she made it from scratch, she'll take all that dough and she'll put it in a sifter. And when she put it in the sifter, she would have to shake it. Y'all ain't saying nothing here today. And she would have to turn it. Y'all, how many of y'all remember? Some of y'all, you know, y'all a little bit too sophisticated and domesticated for me. You know, I'm from right across the county line, so that's how we did things from my way. She would turn that thing. Y'all ain't saying it had that little thing in it, and that thing would turn. And everything that was useful, y'all ain't saying nothing, would just sift on out and it would be there for you to collect, and she would put that in the bowl. But everything that was rocky, everything that was hard, everything that couldn't be manipulated, everything that wouldn't be formed, y'all ain't saying that, everything that resisted what the person doing it was trying to do would stay. Y'all ain't saying nothing. And whenever it was sifted enough, there would be a few things that were still in the basket. And you know what grandma would do? Take it and dispose of it. You know why? Because it wasn't supposed to go in this. Because what happens is there are times that God is doing a new thing. And what God is doing a new thing, everything that started out doesn't end with you. Y'all ain't saying nothing in here. Why? Because it just wasn't supposed to fit in. It didn't have the right texture for the next level. Y'all quiet up in here. Touch a neighbor, tell them, neighbor, God is shifting things in your life. And he's shifting people from your life. Y'all ain't saying nothing that ain't intent on going to the next level. They won't ever be able to taste and see what God is cooking because they refuse to be sifted. They refuse to allow God to manipulate them, to break them apart so that they can fit in. They want to stay the way that they are. Y'all sit down. So what happens in the cake baking process, Pastor Angie, is simply this. All the flour starts out together. But while it's being sifted, the flour is ultimately saying, I know where you're going and I want to be in the container that's going. Y'all ain't saying nothing. That flour lands in a bowl that ultimately my grandma would take the bowl after that. And that's when she put the egg in there, and that's when she put the sour cream, and that's when she put everything else. And so the flour that allowed itself to be sifted and shaken a little bit, it ended up in the bowl. And now watch this now, whenever you eat that flour by itself, how many of you guys ever ate flour by itself? You know, it just doesn't taste good. Your kids, before they get old enough to understand the process, y'all ain't saying nothing. Before kids, when they're young, they don't understand the process. They have smelled the cake before. They have tasted the cake before. And so they know ultimately what is being mixed up here is going to taste good. But until they actually have experienced the process, sometimes they would take their finger and put it in the flour. And then when they take the finger and put it in the flour, and thinking it's going to taste good, just because watch this, it's an ingredient in what they know tastes good. So they think just because it's a part of what tastes good, that part of it's going to taste good. No, that part of it doesn't taste good until all of it is worked together. Are y'all saying what I'm saying? So you take the sour cream, it doesn't taste good by itself. The egg, it definitely doesn't taste good by itself. The salt doesn't taste good by itself. Y'all ain't saying nothing. The baking soda doesn't taste good by itself. The flour doesn't taste good by itself. The sugar tastes okay, but too much of it will make you bug out by itself. And so nevertheless, but when you take all of that stuff and work it together and start mixing that stuff up, ultimately you can put it into a pan, then put some heat on it. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Touch your neighbor, tell them, neighbor, even when it tastes good, it still ain't ready. It still ain't ready. It still ain't ready. Still ain't ready. Still ain't ready. So in other words, you might be in a season in your life where things seem to be going good, but if the heat ain't been put on you yet, it still ain't the end of the process yet. Y'all ain't saying that it ain't the end of it. And so the promotion, yeah, it tastes good. You just got married. Yeah, it tastes good. You just got some money in the bank account. Yeah, it tastes good. You had a debt counsel. Yeah, it tastes good. But until God allowed you to go through the furnace of affliction, it still ain't done yet. Your eyes haven't seen